Hi, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to be doing the Cliche Book Tag. Cliches are everywhere. I'm not a huge fan of them myself, but I saw this tag and I thought it looked quite interesting, so let's get on and see what it's like. So the first cliche is actions speak louder than words, and that's a book that was and couldn't be as good as the movie. So just before I get into this, I just want to say sorry for the washing machine. I'm currently doing some washing, so it may get a bit loud during this video. But back on to the book that cannot be as good as the movie, and for that I'm going to go with Atonement by Ian McEwan. So I've watched that movie so many times. I love it, with James McAvoy and Keira Knightley. And one thing that makes it so good is the ending. Oh, I just cried so much at that ending. But with this, the ending was totally different, and it's what is the ending that made me not like this book. I mean, I liked it, but not as much as the movie, and that's why if I ever wanted to read it, I'd rather go watch the movie. But basically this is set in World War II, I think, or it might be World War One. I actually think it might be World War One. And this follows a young 13-year-old called Bryony, and it all starts when she sees her sister Cecilia basically stripped down in front of a young man who's come to visit, and I think he works in the garden. It's been a while since I've read this, but basically it all falls from that, and how innocent Bryony thinks this man's doing stuff to her sister when in fact they're actually in a relationship and love each other. And that's what made me hate the main character so much. But yeah, it's a really nice little romantic historic fiction, and the ending is just so sad, and I just love the film so much. Next one is The Grass is Always Greener on the Other Side, and that's a rags to riches book. So for this I've gone with the Billy and Me series by Giovanna Fletcher. Basically this follows a girl called Sophie. She lives in a little rural area, and then this actor called Billy comes into town. He's basically like the Tom Hiddleston, Benedict Cumberbatch of this world. He's not insta love, which is good. She hates him at first. She thinks he's a bit big-headed. Then they get to know each other and they do fall in love. Now I've said the whole series just because it's in Always with Love that she goes to America, to where Billy lives, and that's where she starts to experience paparazzi and stuff like that. But I think this is a real nice rags to riches, even though they may or may not come back and just live in a little cafe, which I think is so cute. The next one is Apple Doesn't Fall Far from the Tree, and that's your favourite family relationship. Now for this one there's only one family that I could say, and that is the Weasleys from Harry Potter. I just love them so much. I mean, they don't have many things, they've mostly got themselves because they're quite poor, but that relationship they all have is just amazing. You've got Ginny and all her older brothers trying to protect her. You've got Mr. and Mrs. Weasley who love each other so much, and they love their children and they're doing their best for them. And I just love the Weasleys so much. Next one is You Can't Judge a Book by its Cover, and that's a great book that needs a better cover. Now I'm going to go through this book in more detail in a moment, but for this I'm going to go with the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by John Tiffany and Jack Thorne. And I'm saying this because it's the only cover on my shelf which I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why the boy isn't a nest with wings. It's just very weird, and I think it would have been better having a simpler kind of cover. But yeah, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Next one is You Can't Please Everyone, and that's a book everyone loves but you hate. Now for me this has to be Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, or basically anything by Jane Austen. I just cannot get into her writing style, and I just did not like it at all. When I was reading it I felt like I had to force myself to finish it, and it's kind of put me off reading other classics, to be honest. I've only read This and Persuasion by Jane Austen. I just don't like it. I think with this is more of a I will watch the film kind of thing. Next is What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, and that's a book that has made you a better person from reading it. And for this I'm going to go with To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, just because I was very touched by the bravery of Atticus Finch, who is the father in the story, and what he went through to defend Tom Robinson, who is a black man who was accused of raping a white woman. And what he went through for that, it makes me think, back in this era, the 1930s, would I have done the same? I don't think many people would have. There are other people in here who support Atticus, but they don't really do much to help him. So yeah, I think this is a really good book that everyone must read at least once in their life. Next one is Love is Blind, and that's a book with insta-love or love at first sight, or a book with a disabled person as a main character. So I am going to go with The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher, and I'm going with this because William Trundle, the main character, is in a wheelchair, and I think it is so important to have more disabled people in middle grade books or children's books, just because we need more diversity just in general, but especially for disabled people. Not many books I've read has a person in a wheelchair for the main character, and I just think it's so cool and also so important. And again, I think everyone should read this. It's a great Christmas novel. Buy it for your young friends or brother, sister, but even for an older person like me, it's such a good novel. Basically follows William Trundle, who's obsessed with dinosaurs, and all he wants is a dinosaur for Christmas. So Santa Claus somehow manages to find a dinosaur in the South Pole, it hatches, and well, you can see the outcome on the front cover, but it's such a cool novel. Next one is Ignorance is Bliss, and that's a book that is bad but you just don't want to admit it. So this is where we come back to the cursed child, and yeah, it is bad. When I first read it, I loved it. I think mostly because I was hooked and I was glad to be back. Sorry, I'm just getting pins and needles. And I was glad to be back in this world. But then looking back on it, it is quite bad. It basically rewrites the whole of the Goblet of Fire, so it's not really anything new. And then there's this whole thing with Bellatrix and Voldemort, and it's basically, I know people say it's like fan fiction, and I think it actually is. And I think the problem with this is that it wasn't written by J.K. Rowling, it was written by John Tiffany and Jack Thorne. I think if it was written by J.K. Rowling, it probably would have been a lot better, because we've seen her write Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and that was amazing. But if this was written by J.K. Rowling, it would definitely be a lot better. I mean, I don't know whether it comes across better on stage rather than just in a script, but yeah, it is a bit bad. But I'm not throwing it away, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it for my Harry Potter collection. Next one is There's No Time Like the Present, and that's your favourite contemporary novel. Now for me, I'm going to go with The Secret Lives of the Amir Sisters by Nadia Hussain, just because I read this in a day and it had me hooked. It is so cool, and it's also about a little Muslim family living in a rural area, so they're the only Muslim family there. And I think it's just so cool, because I haven't seen many books based around Muslim families living in England. I just liked it. I like the characters, there's the 4 sisters, and I like learning more about Muslim families. It's great to see a little diverse Muslim family, and yeah, I just loved it so much. And I think everyone should give this a go. Because people are saying all about diverse reads, but I've never heard anyone mention Nadia Hussain or The Secret Lives of the Amir Sisters, so I think everyone should give this a go. The last one is Better Safe Than Sorry, and this is a book you don't want to read in case it's bad. So again, going with the whole Austen and putting me off classics, I'm going to go with Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And there's also stuff like Wuthering Heights, Oliver Twist, lots of classics I'm scared of reading just because I expected so much from Pride and Prejudice and I ended up not really liking it. So yeah, it's kind of put me off a bit, but I do think I will give this a go at least once, and Wuthering Heights, I really want to read that as well. Believe it or not, I've never actually read them before, but I do want to give this a go. So yeah, I better wrap this up because my back is starting to hurt and I've got pins and needles as well, which is not a good thing to have together. But yeah, that's it, and if you do want to comment, you can do, just comment down below and we can have a quick discussion. Also, you can like this video, subscribe to this channel, and then you can follow me on Tumblr, Twitter, Snapchat, Goodreads and Instagram. So I will see you later with a new video. Bye!